This video will hopefully help you navigate through Echo a little bit better and give you some tips on where to find important information, how to keep track of your students' work and grades. So what we're going to do is we're going to start, basically this is the home page where you see the course cards for each course that your student is enrolled in. And as we take a look at it, one thing to note is on the course card, we can see the grade right here for your student, or that the student currently has in that class. There are a couple of ways to check grades. If we stay with this AP Gov English 11 course, there are different approaches and ways to get to grades. The easiest is on the course card. If you notice these icons in the bottom right-hand corner, first is activities, where you can see what is assigned and what's going on in the class. And I apologize, did not mean to do that. The second is grades. So if we click on that, it takes you to grades. A couple of things to notice is that right at the top, it gives you the overall grade. Right below that, as you know, with our PBL model, the students are graded with a rubric, and each the rubric contains outcomes, and these are the outcomes for each, and so they have a grade for each of the outcomes. Okay, scrolling down, you can see all of the activities, as Echo calls them, that students were assigned. Some are gradable, some are not. And so you can see the grades as they're given, and there's not always a grade in each of the outcomes, and that's the way that New Tech has it. There's not supposed to be a grade in each one, and you can talk to your student about that. One thing I want to point out to you is, so like right here on this one, if you notice that there are some columns that do not have dots in them, okay? If there's a dot, it means that there are no points given for that outcome. And so this is a way you can tell if something has not been completed, is if there are blanks, okay, there's no score in it, or there's no dot, that means that this assignment is to be graded, has not been graded, and may not have been completed. And what you can do is you can scroll over to the right, and you can look, well, that's because this one is due today at 3:11 p.m. Okay, so not quite due yet, and so that's why there's nothing there. It's also not red because it's not past due. So if you want to see, and I know that's not the easiest, and I'm going to show you a better way to do that, but anyway, you can check there. Okay, so that's one way to see grades. If we go back home, okay, another way to check grades, you can click on the course card. So once you're actually in the class, this is like the home page where students can see the project, active projects, the agendas would be listed for the day, the information for the teachers of this class. Okay, but what you can do is click on the three lines, which is the menu, and then right here you have grades. And this takes us to the same place we just were a second ago. Okay, so that is nice to check out there. If we go back to the class, I did want to show you this too. So again, where this is the main page for class, where you can see the projects, the agenda, and everything. If you actually continue scrolling below this, this is where you can see what was graded, what was returned, or any notes that the teacher might have for the student. Okay, and so one thing I wanted to show you is that if a teacher gives feedback, right here, okay? So the teacher updated a score for this rough draft, so you could click on it to actually go to that assignment. But right here it says click here to view feedback. And so this would pop up, and this is the note from the teacher telling this student, this is still your outline, where's your draft? So notes from the teacher will be right there that you can easily access to see what the teacher made a comment about. The other important piece that you might want to know is that we have these icons here for the class, And it's always going to default to this first one, which is the table of contents, which lists the folders that teachers have created where they place assignments, readings, videos, the learning that they kind of need to do. Okay. So they can click on that and get to it that way. Okay. Yep. Apologize for that. Let's get back to this class. And so if you want to know maybe what assignments your student has due or coming up, you want to look at this second icon, this check mark. This is the to-do list. And so if you click on that, it will tell you what is still left to do. And you have things that are past due or things that are due today. And depending on how the teacher sets it up, it could even be future if they have, what's due next week already already posted, that could be in there as well. Not all teachers do that because the list can be a little bit overwhelming. So some kind of keep it within, manageable reason for the students. So if they have this past due, so like this map skills post assessment, I could just click on it right here. It's an assessment, so it requires a password to get in, and so you could get right to it. This reading Google form, so I can get to all those, but this is a great place where you can see what they have either past due, what's coming up, what assignment is current, anything like that. So these are the two main ones you're going to look at. This is default, always defaults to this when you open up the course, but this is very important, the check mark. This is the to-do list, so you can see, again, the assignments that are either past, that are current, and if a teacher does post them, what might be coming up. So those are the ways that you can check grades for your students, and also you can check any feedback from teachers and the assignments that students are either missing or that are due. One last thing I want to show you is this third one. Not a lot of teachers use this, but some might. They could post general announcements to the class, and so those would show up here as well. Most teachers will utilize the agenda page because when I click on a course to go there, it's just right here. And so you can access the agenda and you can look at any place. Okay. And you can go back so you can see what was done, what was missed, what the expectations were for any day. It shows the current week that we're in, but if you go to the bottom, to the far right here with the calendar, if you click on that, you can go back or forward to any day, any month. Anything that is in blue is when it had an agenda posted. As you can see, this was actually the week of spring break, 23rd to 27th. So it's white. That's why it's white and has nothing there. And then the teacher's working kind of as we go, so nothing is posted for the future yet. So hopefully that helps. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to your child's teachers or the team at the high school, who will always be happy to help.